What's up guys, John here. Behind me is another abandoned school, and I believe these are going to be littered all throughout America in the coming year or two. President Donald Trump right now is discussing getting rid of the Department of Education, which is costing federal taxpayers about $1 trillion every single year.
We're going to take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it.
President Trump is also considering signing an executive order that would direct the Secretary of Education to dismantle the Department of Education.
The reason for getting rid of this, according to Donald Trump, is that we need to change the education system because we're seeing no return on this money with how these students are presently being educated based on, our school rankings and basically the test scores of these students. But I ask you one question. Is there a bigger story here? Is there something bigger happening here? Because I did a video about a year ago, maybe a little bit less, saying about schools closing nationwide and how I believe this is all going to come about. And this is what I think is we're in this stage right now, where schools are going to start to get closed down. What if I were to tell you that schools all throughout America are getting ready to close down in droves? The ultimate plan is for all students to get an education from home, remote work, and for them to convert these schools into affordable housing.
President Elon Musk now considering a plan to eliminate the Department of Education.
Trump is preparing to sign an executive order that could end the federal Department of Education.
But last week, they announced that they're thinking about doing buyouts on 2 million federal workers.
If they choose to resign, it would be effective immediately, and those employees would get pay and benefits through September.
You just have to tell us in the next 2 weeks whether you're resigning or not. First, it was the FBI. Now it's the CIA.
The administration, the CIA, has just offered buyouts to the entire workforce. And employees were offered 8 months of pay and benefits if they leave the intelligence agency.
When you look at really what's happening, it's not about schools, the students' performance. It's not about the federal workers. It's not about anything outside of the government needs to get rid of as many jobs as they possibly can. And they're not alone on this either. Large corporations are in the same position. Big businesses, mid-sized businesses, same position. They're looking to cut the fat. They're looking to get rid of employees. I know that's a harsh way of saying it, but that's how the government views people. That's how large corporations view people. They view employees as the fat. And what they're looking to do is they are looking to start to move into AI, automation. They're looking to reduce their expenses. Now, the more you look into the big story, the more you'll see what the future actually looks like is going to be pretty radical. You see these schools, many people look at them and they think, okay, that's just where kids get an education. No, this is free daycare for parents. This is where parents can go work, send their kids off to school to get an education, so then when the kids come home, they have a meal to eat. Well, when they start to close down schools and they start to cut funding, well, these schools are going to need to do a lot more with a lot less. And we're going to start to see these classroom sizes balloon. And that's my prediction. The next stage, we're going to see classroom sizes balloon as funding gets cut. We're going to start to see more outdated textbooks. We're going to start to see more and more and more benefits being slashed. And then ultimately, where this is all going to go, I would say in the next 5 years, is where the education system is all online. Everything is online. And how they're going to sell this is they're going to say, look, if you stay home and you get your education at home, we can tailor this education to you using a VR headset that'll be more inclusive, less bias, and it's going to be able to tailor this education to where you can get the best net outcome from it. And many people look at this and say, great, I'm going to be able to get an education that's going to be based around where I'm at versus where the classroom is at. And as they're able to do this, you think about what this means from the person providing this information. They can provide it directly to that individual without having to wonder the opinions of any outsiders, right? They're able to, the amount of control that gives is unbelievable. If you have a VR headset and you put that on someone for 8 hours, right? Imagine that every single day. And think about how low cost that would be. That's the future. Because you start to look at what's happening in the economy right now, there is no alternative for most. There really isn't. Because everything is funded by taxpayers, by people working. When you look at what's happening with commercial real estate, you look at the real job numbers, you look at where unemployment really is, look at the amount of dependence on the federal government right now. It's almost 20% of the US population is getting subsidies or financial assistance from the government. as these tax collections continue to dwindle, they're going to cut. That's what they're going to do. They're going to start cutting these benefits. And so, I share this information because I believe it's real. I believe this is the future that we're walking into. I think we're going to start seeing more and more and more of these schools closing down, and we're going to see a different type of world. You're seeing the same thing right now. The health industry is moving in this telehealth, telemedicine. Why? Because it saves money. Kaiser, they had that strike with 75,000, 80,000 workers, right? They want to get rid of these employees, as many as they possibly can, to move into a more cost-effective business model. Government's no different. It's no different. They're looking to get into a better model, more control, less expense, and more of a grip. And that's what's happening. Education system, all industries are moving in this direction. Now, look at the size of this place. It's like a college campus. Not long ago, probably had kids going here, getting an education, and then you got here, the RV. You think the RV is just camping out because it's a beautiful sightseeing location for an RV? No, it's because they're more than likely in financial distress. And this is where the economy is. I mean, that couldn't be a better backdrop, right? That's the consumer, and there's the government, right? This is, I think, what it all looks like. But if you're an entrepreneur or business person, you look at the writing on the wall, right? The writing on the wall, everything points towards the new America. VR headsets, you think Zuckerberg is spending, billions and billions of dollars on this just because he thinks it's cool? No, because he knows it's the future. You think a lot of these companies like Microsoft bought Activision for fun? It's the future. This is why they're all doing it, right? They're investing in what is the future. The education system will not be, I promise you, 5-10 years from now, where you send your kid to school and they get an education, and then they go to college, a community college or a traditional college, and then from there they go work at some corporate job. That's not going to be what the future is going to look like. The future is all going to come down to automation and doing a lot more using technology. That's what it's going to come down to, nothing less. But it's just crazy to witness this. When you start to see this, a lot of people look at one story and they'll say, hey John, the federal worker, 2 million bailout of the federal workers, that's a one-off story. And then they'll see something in the Department of Education. Oh, that's a one-off story. These are separate stories. They're the same story. They're just different dates, right? It's the same push for this new direction. Now, that's why I think, for me, everything, like investing-wise, everything is about affordability. Like, you want to invest in affordability, because when you start to look at how everything's getting dismantled, the demand for affordability is only going to grow in the coming couple of years with everything. Everything is going to be about affordability. McDonald's, I would bet McDonald's over the coming couple of years, food quality is going to go down, demand's going to go up, because people aren't going to be able to afford to go out to Applebee's and go out to these restaurants. They're going to continue to move down, most people. The entrepreneurs are going to keep moving up. Their lives are going to get better. But people that think that everything is going to go back to normal, I don't think so. Look at the last 5 years. I was talking to someone on Twitter about what's happening in LA with the moratorium. And look, many people thought that was going to be a 30-day thing. That was 5 years ago. Now they're talking about another 1-year extension, right? It's going to be like that, except across the entire economy and across the entire middle class. That's why I keep saying the next 2-3 years are so important, because they are. What are the odds? Really, what are the odds of all of these things happening almost every week? Another breaking story. It's all about the rich getting way richer and everybody else continuing to erode on their living standards. That's what's happening. So I believe it so much that I relocated my whole family from Florida. From there I went from LA to Florida, from Florida to Cleveland. You think I'm just doing this for fun? I'm doing it because the next couple of years it comes down to making smart financial decisions, investing heavily, and scaling. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and he said, well, how much money are you looking to make, residual income wise? I'm like, well, look, I think when we go back 5-7 years ago, making $100,000 was considered successful, right? 100,000. You go to the Christmas party, go anywhere, the person making $100,000 a year, people are asking that person for life advice in most families, right? Now, if you make $250, it's like, okay, cool. No one's asking you for life advice. You make $500, $600, $700, people are like, okay, this guy or girl is doing well. In the future, it's going to be millions. You need to make $250, $300 a month for that threshold to be met. So you just start to think about that. Went from 100 to maybe 250, 500 in that range to 750 to $1 million. It's going to keep going like that, right? So that's what's likely going to happen. And so when people wonder, like, well, how much money do you make to, like, avoid this, this collapse of the middle class? I would say more than what most people would think. You just look at how much has changed the last 5-10 years. Imagine how much the next 5 to 10 years will change with AI, with automation, all these things. I would probably put the number closer to, a few $100,000 a month is where most people would need to be, to where they're like kind of immune from this. Now, some people might think, oh, that's a crazy amount of money. Other people realize, look, the money has no value. The government just prints it in thin air. They literally they spend $1 trillion every 100 days. It means literally nothing. So they just manufacture it out of nothing, and then we all work for it. So it's all relative. You can make as much money as you want. You have internet access, you make it happen. You can learn anything. I have conversations with ChatGPT every single day, and the amount of free information I get, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You literally can start any business using ChatGPT, some automations, using Upwork, Fiverr, some of these websites. You can build out a pretty inexpensive team and scale up an idea with like almost no risk. So you can do it, but just realize this situation is coming all across America, I promise you. If you have kids, or you plan to, and you want to give them a great life, it comes down to the hustle. Make it happen in the next couple of years. That's what it comes down to, because I'm telling you, the middle class, they're going to continue to have these luxuries get wiped away. It's just the harsh reality of it. But I think those that are ambitious now, they're going to live an incredible life, like an unbelievable life. Those that are taking action right now. But I think most people think it's crazy. No, fear monger. What are the odds, though? Let's just be honest. What are the odds? They're talking about getting rid of the Department of Education. 2 million federal workers, same week. Then you have all these big companies issuing massive layoffs, trying to do buyouts, these strikes that are coming in internally. All these things where, coincidentally, millions and millions and millions of jobs are in question over the last 6 to 12 months. Millions and millions and millions of jobs across all different industries, from healthcare to automotive to federal workers to teachers and everything in between. I would say the odds of that all happening are zero. That's what I would say. Damn near zero. So all these people, they own homes, right? Teachers, Kaiser, all these professionals own homes. And the insurance is going up on those homes. The taxes are going up on those homes. Who's going to buy them? The institutions, the savvy investors, they're prepared. That's who's going to buy them. And they're going to end up buying them and renting them out. That's what they're going to end up doing. So you set yourself up with a great business right now, or you invest in your own business, or if you're in a company, you just continue creating a lot of value for that company. Your boss won't let you go. If you're creating a multiple of value that you're getting for that company, then you're getting paid. They're going to keep you, and they're going to keep paying you well. And then you start going out there buying assets. That's what you do. What do you think about this? Remember 10 years ago, having a job, having a stable job, like people were like, oh, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get this job, work for this corporation, and I'm going to stay there for 20, 30, 40 years. That worked so well for a very, very, very long time. I don't think there's anything like that anymore. The stability of a job is fading by the quarter. There is no stability. It's up to everybody to go out there and make it happen. I mean, the only thing stable is your own actions, what you can control, right? Let's have a conversation about this. Really curious as to what you think with all of these situations unfolding. Do you think we're walking into the greatest wealth building opportunity in American history? I think so. If you're thinking about investing in real estate entry-level housing and maybe you have credit issues or you're looking to get a business loan, we'd love to help you at my company, greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative or derogatory items in your credit report, go to greatcreditfast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free call, catch you next video.